What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you've been keeping up with the videos, you'll know that the SR20 is in the S13 and we are getting things done, crossing things off the list, and yeah, we're gonna keep doing that. So if you saw in the last video, the SR AC compressor, or the AC compressor that's on here, is for an S14, so the lines don't bolt up. So we are going to be cleaning up this S13 one, testing it to see if it works, if the clutch works. And another thing is, if you look up in here, you can see that there is no starter up there. So that's another thing that we have right here. This starter is for that engine, and also the cam angle sensor is not installed. So, but one thing is, look at how dirty all this stuff is. Yeah, so you can see how dirty everything is, and I can't justify putting this stuff on that engine, especially because I went so far as to vapor hone pretty much everything I could, so that it's nice and clean and looking fresh. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do in the video today. Is I'm gonna try to clean up the cam angle sensor, which is really just the aluminum part on it. Same thing with the starter. I'm gonna try to clean that up, vapor hone it, and get it looking like this, basically. So, as a comparison, this is a KA starter that I vapor honed and just repainted the middle section here with Steelite. So yeah, that's what I want to do to this starter before I install it. And then, like I said, we're going to test this AC compressor, make sure the clutch works. And if it does, then I'll probably vapor hone the whole thing, plug it, and vapor hone it just like I did to this one, as you can see here, and get it kind of bright silver before we put it on the car. So yeah, that's pretty much what's on the list for this video. So let's just get started. Oh, one more thing. Also forgot, I have this AEM trigger wheel to install in the cam angle sensor. So yeah, that's another thing that we are gonna do after vapor honing some stuff. So yeah, let's get the car moved over so I have access to the vapor honing cabinet, and I guess we'll test the AC compressor first, and then if that's good, we'll just start vapor honing everything. So let's jump into it. Alright, so like I mentioned previously, we're going to start by testing the AC compressor to make sure that the clutch does engage and disengage properly. So what I'm doing is just checking the movement of the pulley and seeing whether the clutch spins freely. As you can see, it moves, but definitely has some resistance. Now, just using a Milwaukee M12 battery with some leads, all we have to do is connect the positive lead to the wire on the compressor, And when we ground out the compressor, it should activate the magnets and pull the clutch in so that the pulley drives the compressor. So not sure if you can see it or not, but with the power connected to the compressor, when I hold the pulley in place and try to spin the clutch, it won't move. Essentially that means the clutch is engaging when powered, which is good. Now even though that means that the clutch is working, the clutch when disengaged isn't spinning as freely as I'd like it to be. So I wanted to address that by trying to free up the clutch some more. A good amount of PB Blaster on the nut to soak for a bit should help. And with the nut removed, it still felt pretty crusty. So I just worked the pulley and the clutch back and forth a bit, and now you can see the clutch here is spinning a lot more freely. You can see how dirty this AC compressor is and why I didn't want to just put it on the way it was. Now just to double check again, we'll send power to the compressor while the pulley is spinning, and you see how the clutch engages when powered, and you can also really hear it engaging much better than before. Clearly I got a little carried away here testing, but now we can move on to getting it cleaned up. So I took it outside and sprayed the whole thing down with some off oven cleaner. After it sat for a bit, I pressure washed it off, and here you can see now I sprayed some degreaser next and let that sit for a bit, and then same thing, I pressure washed it off. And next you will see that this is the result, basically just a light pre-clean before vapor honing. Now we can disassemble the starter and the cam angle sensor. With everything disassembled, we're almost ready to start vapor honing. For the cam angle sensor, we'll only be vapor honing the aluminum section, and for the starter, only certain parts of the outer casing as well. But first, we gotta mask up the ports of the AC compressor to keep any media or water out. So we'll start with the pieces of the starter and the cam angle sensor. Make sure you take note of how these pieces look now compared to when they're done. Just look at the difference here, and we just barely started. You can see the section that got vapor honed and the section that didn't. It's a pretty big difference. So with all these pieces finished, we can take them out and use compressed air to dry them off. And then next we'll move on to the AC compressor. So I couldn't leave the pulley raw because it would just rust again pretty quickly over time. So I gave it a quick coat of black steel it, and man does it look better. And just like that, we've got the AC compressor cleaned up along with the cam angle sensor and the starter. So you can see here, cam angle sensor, it's really only this middle part that you're gonna see, but it'll still match with the rest of the engine since everything else is clean. For the AC compressor, I actually did end up spraying the pulley black with some black steelite. And then for the starter, I did the same thing here on the end cover, but with some gray steelite. So it's all ready, and let's get it installed on the car. This doesn't line up. Alright, so we got the cam angle sensor installed and the starter, but as you can see, when I tried to install the AC compressor, that didn't bolt up. I think I'm going to need an adapter. I tried an adapter that I have that's mismatched pieces, but that's not going to work either. So the AC compressor is going to have to wait, and that basically wraps it up for everything in this video. So we didn't make too much progress, but we made a little. So hopefully we'll get more stuff done in the next video. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you click subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.